Good evening, I'm Andrew Chang.
And I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Tonight, the biggest crisis facing the monarchy in decades.
The fallout from Meghan and Harry's explosive interview.
I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
They say Meghan's plea for help was ignored while she and unborn Archie were subject to racism from the British tabloids and the royal family.
Concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What?
The interview everyone is talking about except the palace. Tonight, the meaning of this moment for women of color around the world.
Also tonight, we reveal a communication breakdown.
We are trying to do the best that we can with the data that we have.
How a critical decision about who can get the AstraZeneca vaccine was misunderstood, and where it leaves seniors waiting for the shot.
Plus, a glimpse at normal. The U.S. lays out the do's and don'ts for the fully vaccinated. This is The National. Part of the power of Buckingham Palace rests with its image of tradition and service to the Commonwealth. That's why Oprah Winfrey's blockbuster interview with Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is so explosive. And tonight, that interview aired in the UK.
And for some, it will be a final blow to the idea that the British royal family can move out of its past.
They were willing to lie.
What I was seeing was history repeating itself.
I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
So even as she thought of harming herself, she said the royal family blocked her from getting help while leaving her exposed to tabloid attacks. Ever since Harry and Meghan announced their exit from royal life, Buckingham Palace has painted it as a choice they made. But according to them, staying was not an option. And Renee Filipponi brings us the reaction to the most explosive allegation of all, that the Duchess of Sussex was experiencing racism, not just from the press, but from the royal family itself.
I've been by myself, solitary confinement, no access to medical help, no trial, no charge, nothing.
It was a fairy tale moment, and with it came the promise of a new chapter for the British monarchy. Now, not even 3 years later, it's ended in a tell-all interview and allegations of racism towards their young son, Archie.
And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
You're not having a bad day, but you know what? You're a black person in a white neighborhood, and you're acting like one. Why don't you act like a white person in a white neighborhood?
What?
Today, Oprah Winfrey said Harry later made it clear this wasn't coming from the Queen.
That it was not his grandmother nor his grandfather that were a part of those conversations.
But it's that quote that captured headlines and the attention of the British people.
I'm happy that she spoke out about it. I feel like people need to know. I think that they get away with a lot of things, so I'm happy that she said something.
Meghan says the treatment she received had her thinking of suicide, But some well-known critics of the couple paint the interview as self-serving and one-sided.
They basically make out the entire royal family a bunch of white supremacists by dropping this race bombshell without...
I tell you about ticking 8 balls, not paying you, packy little cunt. Bosh! Have some of that, you slag.
It's been horrific to watch some of what I've seen this morning.
This marketing consultant says racism has always been a factor in the way Meghan has been covered by the press, but says now attention is directed at the palace and it must take action.
I think these things need to be investigated as a matter of urgency in the same way that they were happy to report last week that they would be investigating within the royal household about these claims of bullying against Meghan.
And for some in Parliament, the issues raised during the interview go far beyond the walls of the palace.
It's bigger in a sense than just the royal family because, you know, that experience of racism, I'm sad to say, is too prevalent still in 21st century Britain. We all have to take that seriously.
For his part, the Prime Minister would only say he has the highest admiration for the Queen.
I've spent a long time now not commenting on royal family matters, and I don't intend to depart from that today.
All right, so Renee, what's the palace saying?
Well, it's been 24 hours since the interview first aired and still silence from the palace. But if and when they do respond, people will be looking at that statement very closely to see if it addresses the allegations such as racism and whether an investigation is ordered. But Adrian, the royal drama isn't over. Tomorrow, the Duchess of Sussex's estranged father, Thomas Markle, will be a guest on Good Morning Britain and interviewed by none other than Harry and Meghan's fiercest critic, Piers Morgan.
All right, Renee Filipponi outside Buckingham Palace tonight. Thank you, Renee.
Now, the departure of Harry and Meghan from the firm has been playing out in the press for a while now, but this interview represents a remarkably public rupture, and Thomas Daigle explains why it is the most dramatic crisis Buckingham Palace has faced in decades.
What a difference a year can make. This Commonwealth Day service would turn out to be Prince Harry and Meghan's last public engagement as working royals.
When we gathered
a year later, Westminster Abbey, nearly empty due to COVID, and the royal family facing a threat of the existential kind.
I'm reminded once again that the essence of the Commonwealth is its remarkable diversity.
It's clearer than ever the monarchy's past stands in stark contrast with the present. Remember, many of those Commonwealth nations were once controlled by Britain, and it's hard to separate the monarchy from that colonial history.
These are archaic institutions that are dripping in systemic racism and gender discrimination.
Call it a moment of reckoning, but not the first one, since this interview
that they were willing to lie to protect other members of the family
reminded many of that one.
Well, the enemy was my husband's department.
Diana's explosive BBC tell-all in '95, then the royal family's inaction immediately following her death may be the only comparable crises in recent memory. Combined with Prince Andrew's fall from grace, British Republicans sense an opportunity.
The monarchy does not represent British values. I mean, I think people are absolutely appalled. It does damage, particularly to Charles, William, and others who are going to be the only ones left on the stage when the Queen dies.
Commonwealth nation Barbados already had plans to drop Queen Elizabeth as its head of state later this year. And in Canada, there's been declining support too, says this pollster. But
the bar to make a change around the monarchy is so high that I think it will be generations before anyone's ready to go there.
Amid 1,200 years of history, this may yet prove as important a chapter as any. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
And we will have more on the impact of Harry and Meghan's interview.
It certainly is a trigger to experiences that I've had and Black women have had everywhere.
How Meghan's interview shatters the promise of a royal family open to change. And from those who know both the palace and the people the royal family serve, a conversation about what has to happen next. That's in about 20 minutes.
Turning to the pandemic now, COVID restrictions eased for millions of Canadians today. Measures lifted partially in New Brunswick, Alberta, and Quebec. And in one of the country's hotspots, people did something today they haven't done in a very long time. They went to the mall.
It's exciting to get back to something that's
you know, close to what we used to do. So, yeah, it's nice.
So customers
Meghan Markle rules to learn if she wants to stay in the Queen's good graces. Back in the summer of 2018, Meghan had British critics gasping when she disrespected the Queen. And what was the horrible offense? Apparently, it was the way the new royal family member was sitting.
You fucked up. They didn't even finish it. You didn't even finish it. Are you mad? You're a fucking pagan. Good. You open Pandora's box, you little bitch. Look what happened. Now you would have told me shit. What do you see me doing every day?
Did you know that simply sitting with your legs crossed when in the presence of the Queen is a no-no? Well, don't feel too bad, because it seems like it slipped Meghan Markle's mind as well. The mishap took place at the Queen's Young Leaders event at Buckingham Palace. A snapshot of the offense proved that the American actress committed the atrocity. Okay, we know it's probably not a huge deal to cross your legs in public, but sadly, now that she is a royal, she's going to have to mind her P's and Q's. Hopefully, the Queen gave her a pass considering she's new to the femme. Let this serve as a warning to Meghan in the future. Never cross your legs in the presence of your new grandmother-in-law. Donald Trump.
And my friends, we export French knickers to France. French knickers made in this country.
We're not drowning, the foreign ministers. Yeah, come on.
It's Jeremy Corbyn, that NATO-bashing, trident-strapping would-be abolisher of the British Army. He says he still admires Bolivarian revolutionary socialism. I say he's Caracas.
I'm a hostage, and this villa has been converted into a jail. All the windows are barred shut. I can't open any window.